Hey, this is the Make Sense Again American, where everything I say makes absolute sense. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been here. I want to talk about the blacks and the blues. Oh, the bluish community, the blues, the chosen ones. Can't say the Druze. Because if you say the Druze, you get kind of, what's that word? You kind of get a little bit, you're violating some shit. But let me talk about this. You can't even talk about the blues. No Blues Clues over here. Nothing. Now, I was watching Charleston White, and I'm becoming a big fan of that cat. And he says that Kanye West did not kill anybody. He didn't assault anybody. He didn't brandish a weapon. He didn't do anything. All he did was talk about the blues. And blues have a lot of power when you have stardom. They don't have a power over some garbage man. Oh, no, they don't. They don't. But they do have a power over a celebrity, somebody with money, somebody with clout. They can take it all away. You'll never work in this town again, kind of thing. It was a saying back in the 50s. But it's a lot of them in Hollywood. It's a lot of them in New York City, and they have a lot of power. You couldn't say anything. Well, back in the 70s and 80s. Instead of the blacks, white supremacy was against the blues, and they would give their reasons why they hated the blues. They just didn't like the blues, and it was funny because when I was a kid watching the Triple K people in white robes talking, they would always have a problem with the blues. And it made me question, and I just had to ask, well, why does everybody hate them? And we had to sit there. I sat there and did, in my own little 13-year-old brain, that they really hate the blues. And they said because the blues killed Christ. And the blues own everything. And the blues control the camera and the media. They have a lot more power over politicians and ranking governments. And it looks that way. They don't want you to see that. Like I said, when you say that the blues have a lot of power, they don't want you to see it. It's just like nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. You can't say anything. You can't question anything. You can't ask anything. And you certainly can't tell them anything. So, when it was said that they have hatred for the blues, white supremacy would say it just out in the open. We don't like the blues. What did the blues do? Well, they control the media and they control everything. So the blues made it 100% priority to knock down every single white person that says anything offensive towards the blacks. That's why when a little girl that has no strength says the word, it's national media. TMZ has to talk about it. And there's that blue lawyer that has to say, this is a problem in America and we really don't. Shut up. No, it's not. But the blues have contained white supremacy. And when it's out, it's like a jar of pickles. When you crack it open, you can get a whiff of pickle juice. And so they're like, I smell pickle juice. And they all jump on it. Anybody says the word, it's automatically white supremacy. And so the blues have that control. Well, now the blacks are starting to, open up. Kyrie Irving had something to say. They're trying to flush him down the toilet. And Kanye West had something to say. They try to flush him down the toilet. They want their lives to be, the blues want the blacks' lives to be in the toilet. You need to go ahead and recognize who's in power and sit your ass down, black boy. And it's not white supremacy doing it, it's the blues. And if the blues can take down white supremacy, and they're always on the clock, media's always on the clock. Like I said in a previous video, some woman in Tennessee with one tooth says the word, it is national headlines. National. There was a mass shooting in Walmart And everybody thought it was, because mass shootings are done by the Caucasian people, and it wasn't. It was a black guy. Well, they're erasing that story. The media doesn't want to talk about that. He even killed his fellow brethren and a sister. And so it's sad, and a 16-year-old kid too. It's really sad. This guy was a nut, and nothing to see here. But if it was a guy of the Caucasian persuasion, it would be all over the media. I just want you to understand that the Blues did their job. They did a great job in containing white flour. White flour. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. White flour. There is no more white flour. There are no white supremacists. There is no white power. Anything. There is none. Because the Blues have contained them. And when there was a group called the Triple K, they always had something to say about the Blues. They gave scriptures, they gave writings, and they had chapters, and it made other people of other races say, well, no, what's wrong with the Blues? I questioned it. And when I read what's wrong with them, I was like, it's a bunch of trash. I mean, you're not going to influence me. But I mean, they really are hated. And it was getting trendy. A lot of people were not liking them, because it is true. They run the cameras. They run Hollywood. And when you run a camera, and then on that camera it says, oh, it's okay. It's not gay to do this. It's not racist when you say this. It's not offensive when you do that. And you see that it is, but it's only because it's on this side. It brainwashes people. You're brainwashed. You actually think that, you're on the side of good. I just wanted to say that, okay, the Blues have knocked down the whites. They knocked them down. No, it's to the point where white can't say anything because they'll be called a racist. And the Blues have, that's the work of the Blues. That's all I'm going to say is the work of the Blues. And it makes sense in my head. When they were criticized, it was by that organization. And that organization has diminished greatly because of technology. One man says the word. If one man wants to run, let's put it like this. If one man says taking applications for the cloud organization. Well, what are clouds? What color are clouds, people? Yeah, sometimes they're gray, but the majority of the times they're fluffy white. And if there's a group on Facebook, it would be called out immediately. It would be called out immediately. So they use this technology and organization to call these places and people out. And you will not work. There was this one guy that attended a rally, and he worked as a hot dog maker, and they fired him from making hot dogs. This is how pathetic white flour has become. It is not flourful anymore. Your white flour has diminished into a used firecracker. There is no more power in that flour. You've done your part, Blues, but I see you're doing your part with the blacks too. You got to keep them in line, huh? Look at you. And the blacks have done nothing to you. There is no history of blacks and the tragedies that happened in the 40s. That's your fault. Okay, that's your fault. You fell for it. And so I'm not saying you got what you deserve. I'm just saying you fell for it. You were the fish with the hook that saw a worm, and you went to the worm and you got snatched up and it was over with. Is it unfortunate? Of course it is. It's heartbreaking. But it happened. But it didn't happen at the demise of or the hands of a black man. Not at all. Not at all. But you get to knock them down too, because the Blues cannot get questioned about their anything, their history, their anything. And as much as we want to say that that didn't exist, a lot of people are saying, well, it didn't really exist and 6 million lives were not taken. You really want to make sure that stays up there, huh? I guess that's a Blues clue that you want to go ahead and keep on the map. But everything else you're trying to erase. Everything else you're trying to erase. This doesn't make sense again, American. Look, it makes sense that maybe the Triple K, because they weren't scared of you, And they did have a lot. They were numerous back then. They had a disdain for you blues, but it's hard for anybody to question you now and have a disdain for you now, because you're not gonna let it slide. You're not gonna let it slide. Do not talk about us. Do not mock us. Do not make fun of us. Who the fuck are you? Huh? Oh, that's right. I know who the fuck are you. You're the group that took down white supremacy. You're the group. You're the group. You use words like discrimination, equality, racism. Remember the word prejudice? You use that word. And you cleansed a lot of white people to love, every color in the rainbow. And that's what you want. As long as they don't go to you blues, long as they don't talk about the blues, everything will be all right. I think I'm seeing right through you. I think I am. Blacks still can't. I wish that you could, but blacks don't see right through you. And I wish they could. That when you were, like in other words, they need to watch what you did to the Triple K and how you literally erased them and made them a weak organization that doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist in people's minds to go marching or burning a cross or burning a church. It doesn't even cross their minds. You really contained it, which is good. You contained them. But now you're containing the blacks. And the blacks don't know how to act. They're like, what do we do? And there's Barkley and Shaq and Stephen A. and all these guys with a microphone. The same media you push, calling Kyrie a jerk and calling Kanye an idiot. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're taking them down. This has been done before. Except Kanye was never wearing white sheets and Kyrie has never burnt a black cross. Yet it's happening to them. And everybody should see them as examples. Oh, we see them. Yeah. So this is the work of the blues. I'm telling you right now. The blues. This will make sense again, America. For those that kept up, I hope you did. If you want, hit me back, but use code language. Hit me back.